Hi everyone, welcome back. I am just Shani, and today we're going to be watching TikTok scary stories. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and ring that bell so you'll be notified every time I post a video. And thank you guys so much for commenting and liking, bro. One of my videos got like 6,000 views. Y'all doing y'all thing. I appreciate y'all so much. Let's just do this.
I have been umming and ahhing about whether or not I want to do this video for two reasons. One, the Audacity Stitch trend has been all over my For You page this weekend, but I'm like a month late to it being called to talk about, and that gives me the ick. But also, I don't make content on this channel anymore, so I don't know if anyone's here or if anyone cares, but then I just sort of figured this story is so crazy that actually it's quite nice to put it in a video so that I don't forget any details, because it wasn't that long ago. And I've told my friends and I've told some family, and everyone's like, that is nuts. So I was like, well, if anyone does care about it, then we can have a conversation about it and I can share a couple more stories. But to give context, I have always felt like the heebie-jeebies, do you know what I mean? Like a sixth sense, spidey sense. Something's going on. Like, I would never go upstairs on my own. I would always have to be escorted because I'd feel like there's somebody watching me in the hallway, little things like that, like going on holiday feeling like I'm not alone, loads of little things. But it really got validated like 2 years ago, where my grandma on my mum's side passed away, and it was kind of sudden. She lived like 3 hours away, so we didn't get the chance to go up there. We were told there was more time, and it kind of happened quite quickly, and we were like, oh, fuck. So anyway, probably like 2 or 3 weeks after she had passed, my mum had gone up to the house and seen my uncle, and they had cleared things in the house. I didn't go. Actually, none of us did. It was just my mum. But I had this super vivid dream, like, you know, the type where you feel like it's real. It was wild. And basically in this dream, it's me, my brother, and my grandma, who we call May. So it's me, James, and May, and we're in May's house. In my head, it's her house. In actuality, it's like not her house at all. It just, in my head, it was. And she's walking around clear as day, and she's talking to me and James are clearing things out of her house in my dream. And she's going, yeah, you know, like, now that I'm past, now that I've gone, there's some things I want you to have, and blah blah. And I was like, me and James are going, May, like, stop being silly, don't talk like that, like, dismissing it. And she's going, no, we need to like face the fact. And she was really aware, talking to me and James, she was really aware that she was no longer part of this world, right? She then goes, come with me, I've got some things I want to show you. And we're like, okay. So we walk upstairs, and on the bed is our cat, and our cat had passed away like 2 years before my grandma had. And I was like, Dango! The big fat ginger Fluff was on the bed, and I was like, no way, Dango, oh my god. And I went over and I was snuggling with him, and I was like, May, this is so cute. And behind me, May and James are talking, and she's going, yeah, there's a few things that I really want to show you. And James, all of a sudden, James behind me is going, oh my god. And I was like, what? And he's like, look what May's just given me. And he turns around a box, and there's like an old men's watch. And I was like, that's cool, where's that come from? And May was like, it's your granddad's, you should have it, it's yours. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. And then she goes, Victoria, there's something I really need you to have. And she's going, you know, there's jewelry, there's so much, but like, there's this one thing that I really want you to have. She roots around in the wardrobe and she pulls that out, and she is emphatic about it, like she is buzzing, and she's like, you need to have this. And I look down, and it's a matchbox, and I was like, that is so weird. James goes, what is that? And I was like, I don't know. And May's going, it's a matchbox, it's like so old, your granddad gave this, you have to have it. She was so adamant that I had to have this little matchbox, and I was like, okay. And then I woke up, and I was like, that was crazy vivid, like so much detail, so much communication, so much like awareness that she was no longer here. I have to tell someone. So I went onto my group chat with my mum and my brother, and I was like, guys, this is gonna sound real freaky, and hear me out, but I've just had a crazy dream. Recounted the dream to them, and my mum was like, I don't know, like, your uncle has the watch, like, that's nothing new, and I don't know anything about this matchbox. And I was like, yeah, I figured that's the case, but just in case you see anything, let me know. But it's probably nothing like this has ever happened before, FYI. Like, I've never hallucinated or had nothing like that. So this was like so random. Anyway, 2 days later, me and my mum go to a cafe, and we sat down, we're chatting away, having a coffee, and she goes, that dream that you had? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, tell me about it. So I explained the story, and she was like, can you describe what you saw? And I was like, well, you know, she was talking about like jewelry, but also she got this matchbox out, and she was so excited about it. And I was like, it was little, little it's from Little. It was little, it was super old, like you could tell that it used to be white, but now it's kind of like tea stained, had like red markings on it, but I didn't see anything inside. She just wanted me to have it. And she was like, you know how I went to May's house like 2 weeks ago to go and clear things out with your uncle? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I found a matchbox. And I was like, what? I was like, am I gifted? What's going on? And I was like, no way. And she was like, yeah, but it just had like pearls in it. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like looks like a necklace, like pearls or bracelets or something had been broken and they were all kept in this matchbox. And I was like, fuck off. It's like, she told me about jewelry and she wanted me to have this. That's jewelry in that matchbox. I was like, you need to, I was like, please tell me you've got it. And she was like, no, I threw it in like a bag that's going to the charity shop. I just thought it was like trash. And I was like, do you know what? It happens. Maybe there was something there, who knows? Anyway, my mum was obviously thinking about this the whole way home. And she calls my uncle and she goes, Phil, have you got those bags of the charity like stuff? And he was like, well, I gave it to charity like yesterday morning. And she told him the story and he was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. Here's the number to the charity shop, so call him. And she calls this guy, and there's probably like, I don't know how many bin bags, but there's a lot of bin bags of stuff in there, like clothes, items, ornaments, all sorts of stuff that you just don't have any use for. We kept the sentimental bit, do you know what I mean? And she calls this guy who she's never spoken to, and she goes, I'm going to sound mental, but my brother came in here 2 days ago with a load of bags, and there's one thing. And she told him the story, and he was like, oh yeah, I know that matchbox. It's got like pearls in it. Yeah, I thought it was rubbish, but I just kept it to like one side for some reason. And she was like, no way. It's like, why would you keep that to one side? There's just a like grotty old matchbox with like broken part. Like, why would you? I don't get it. Anyway, so she then, next time she goes up to where my cousin, my uncle lives and where my grandma lived, she goes to this charity shop and he keeps them for her, and she gives them, and she shows me this matchbox, and I was like, get in the bin. That is the exact thing that I explained. I couldn't believe it. It was freaking me out. And then she was like, and also she was like, behind closed doors, because I didn't want to like freak you out, I've been looking through photo albums to try and figure out what the pearls are. And she was like, they're not real. But when I got to the wedding photos of my granddad and my grandma, she's wearing a pearl necklace with those pearls. And so, to make sure that you've got the receipts, because I know some of you are going to call shit, and that's fair enough, because I would, but I swear on my dog's life, she brings me this matchbox, and I put it in this little, I got this like ornament made. Look, the tea stained with the red, it's old, and there's a couple of the leftover pearls because we got them made back into the necklace that was on her neck for the wedding. So these are like the pearls that were in the matchbox, and there she is. This is what my grandma handed to me in my dream. Just to round this up, because I realised I didn't say it, the like logistical brain that my other half and my dad have been doing is like, you obviously have seen it. I have never been through her wardrobes. I never went through her stuff. I never went through cupboards. Like, I just had never done it. I probably stayed in her room 3 times when we stayed over, and I was literally in the room, in bed, in toilet, leave. That's it. So I have never been through her house. I have no recollection of any matchbox or watch or anything, of like nothing, absolutely nothing. So the whole thing's crazy. I am, you know, gifted queen. Anyway, this is like an 8-minute TikTok, so that's enough now. Anyway, okay, bye.
Bruh. That ornament that she got made, everything, loved it. Tell me why, grandmama, because this would be me if that was my grandmama. Why did you bring some fake pearls into my dream? Like, oh, you need this, you need to have this. Why was that? That would have been me, but I understand the sentimental after her mom was like, oh, I looked, it was on her wedding day, it was in her wedding pictures. Like, then it's like, oh, okay, I see you, grandma. You giving it to me because it was very, very special to you. Like, it was the start of this generation. Like, if it wasn't for this marriage, this syncing, this uniting, I wouldn't even be here. So yes, I love that. Because at first I was just like, what is up with this trend lately in these videos we watching of our parents, these parents dropping the ball? But this parent came for the win. This mom was just like, you know what? God keeps on putting this on my mind. maybe I should go the extra mile to find that, go to the charity. The fact that he put it to the side, it was like so much. God was all up in the midst of that. So she was supposed to have that. I wonder if there's more meaning behind it besides like the, the wedding and the beginning of a generation, the start of, passing down. Like, I wonder. You would think like maybe the matchbox, sometimes the like somebody will give you a picture and you'd be like, but if you bust out the back, it's lined with money. You know what I'm saying? But I know that matchbox was really small, so ain't nothing up in there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, could have been some papers, maybe just folded really good, let her know that, hey, there's a estate. You're the estate owner of this. It was in your grandma's name. You know what? Like, I wanted there to be more, but that was still really, really sweet. I love that they were connecting, conversing in the dreams, and it came to real life, came to be. Has anybody else been having really vivid dreams? Very vivid dreams. So vivid. Yeah. I need to start writing them down. Like, I feel like I should start like shit writing it down. That's funny. That's funny. I need to start doing videos or recordings of what I have a dream of so I don't forget. Because I used to not have vivid dreams, like to where I remembered. I only had vivid dreams that I remembered when the cycle was about to come on, when it was about to be my time of the month. So yeah, might start that. That was I love that. Touching.
Okay, so basically for the first 18 years of my life, I lived with some kind of like demon, evil entity thing. I don't know. All I know is that when he first appeared, when I was like 6 years old in my dreams, he would come to me like every night, every other night. He came to me for a while, and he would like make me kill a bunch of people in my dreams, or else he was gonna torture them for eternity. It was weird. But at the end of every single dream, he'd be like, okay, well, I'll see you like tomorrow night, but remember, don't tell anybody about this. And I'd just be like, okay. And then finally, at one point, I decided I should tell a trusted adult about this. And so I went into the kitchen where my mother was, and I was like, hey, Mom, I need to tell you about this dream. It's terrifying. And she was like, okay. And then as I started to tell her about the dream, the thing like appeared in the kitchen. And it was the first time I had ever seen him like while I was awake. Basically, he was just this like shadow thing with red eyes. I don't fucking know. And so he like appeared in the kitchen, broad daylight, like, and started running towards me. And so I stopped talking about it and was like, never mind. And then he disappeared. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And so then I went to school, and I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, let me try this again. And so I was like, hey, do you want to hear about my dream last night? And they were like, oh, okay. And so then I started telling her, and then boom, he appears on the other side of the playground, starts running towards me, and I was like, oop, never mind. And he disappears. And then he never showed up in my dreams again after that. I guess he got mad at me for trying to tell people. I don't know. But anyways, I kind of forgot that he existed, because like I would occasionally feel him come in and just like stand in my corner of my room and just stare at me, and I'd just be like, leave me alone, please. But that's fine. And then I just kind of forgot that he existed, because like, my mom died. I was going through like medical issues, and there was trauma, and there was a bunch of other stuff going on. So I forgot he existed. And then we finally got dogs when I was in high school, and our tiny little Yorkie, we were chilling on the bed, and she loves meeting new people. Not that this thing is a people, but anyway, she loves it. And finally she comes, she's sitting in my room, and then I guess the thing walked in and went to his corner where he would hang out and just watch me. And so the thing was like, she was sitting on my bed. The dog was sitting on my bed, and the thing walks in, and she like perks her head up, looks at the door, watches it, follows it to like the corner where it would stand at, and she like gets up and she's like shaking her little tail, and she's so excited, and she like goes over and tries to like sniff it and play with it. And I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about this thing that lives here. And then we got a big dog, and that big dog had a very different reaction to this thing coming into my room, because big old dog Abby was sitting on the bed. And I guess the thing walked in, and little Gigi's like, oh my god, that thing is here, let me go play with it. And I was like, you're fucking weird. And the big dog immediately jumped down off the bed, got into a defensive position, hackles up, growling, showing teeth, like starts barking at this thing. And Gigi was like, what are you doing? Like, this is our buddy. And I was like, good God. And so I just we left the room, and I took them for a walk, and I was like, we're just gonna leave. By the time we got back, I guess it had fucked off to wherever it fucks off to when it's not staring at me. And then another thing that happened was my sister was homesick from school one day, and our rooms were right next to each other, and she was completely by herself, and she heard this crash in my room, like something had fallen over, and then she heard somebody sprint out of my room. And so she went to go check and was like, Carter, are you here? And I was not there. I was at school. You were homesick, alone, dummy. And so she like went in. Nothing had fallen in my room. Nothing had been knocked over. And so she was just like, oh, that's fantastic. And then finally, I went off to college. I was 18 and I left. And I guess this pissed this thing off because I'm driving home one day, the February of my freshman year, and I get a call and they're just like, hey, yo, the house is on fire. So see you in a couple hours. And I was like, oh, house is on fire. Okay. And so I get home and the garage and the attic had completely burned down. The rest of the house was fine, but it had been completely like smoke and water damage. So we were not going to be living there anymore. I don't 100% know that they found the cause of the fire. I don't know. But yeah, whenever I walked into the house, I was like expecting it to just feel like my house, which typically felt like something was sitting on my chest and I couldn't breathe. Like I just, that house just made me feel so, and I thought it was because of like all the grief and trauma that house was associated with, which was probably also part of it. But when I tell you after this fire, I walked in and it felt so light and airy in there. Like there was no evil, gross presence in there anymore. And I was just like, oh my God, guys, let's live here. This place is fantastic. This is a great aura. And my dad was like, it caught on fire. We can't live here anymore. And I was like, understandable. So yeah, anytime we visited after that, when they were doing renovations and we were selling it and stuff, like it felt so light and airy. It was amazing. But yeah, I haven't seen the thing since. I've encountered other ghosts at other places I've lived at, just little visitors and stuff. My mom came to me before she died and was just like, goodbye, and then like walked into a light or something and was like, I love you, it's okay. And I was like, okay. But yeah, no, that was the thing I grew up with. That was entirely too long of an explanation. So if you watch this whole thing, good job. I'm okay.
I love their personality, bruh. Tell me why. That was a good premise. Like her whole life story was a good premise for a book. Tell me I'm wrong. In fact, I might just write a book. I might just, y'all follow these creators. I might hit up this creator and be like, you want to go in on a book? Cause like, come on now. You're sleeping. You have your sleep D. Not that sleep D. Not get your mind out the gutter. I was there. That's why I said it. That's how I know your mind was in the gutter because we was there sitting on the gutter together, honey. We was there. But your sleep D, put the other letters in there because I'm not going to say it, literally used you in your dream to do tormenting and killing as a kid. Imagine that in a book, bro. This sleep D that everyone in their sleep paralysis be talking about. Thank God I've never experienced this sleep D, but I have experienced sleep paralysis. It's completely different from everybody else's sleep paralysis. I feel like the aspects, like y'all said, y'all see this shadow with red eyes. Think about that. This shadow with red eyes that y'all was saying as being your sleep paralysis is now using you in your sleep paralysis to torture and kill in a different parallel or in a real life, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they don't want you to tell anybody, because if you tell somebody, they're gonna unalive you because they can no longer work through you and use you. They gotta find somebody else that's gonna be like, oh, nonchalant and agree with this and like, okay, if this is what I gotta do in my sleep, this is what we doing in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that in a book right now. It's just, but friend, the fact that was your real life right there, wow. What? What? Like, let's just think about that. Like, just, you seem like a real cool person, real chill person. But let's just think about all that in your head. Like, the wiring that your brain has, how it's wired for a second. Because what? That's wild, friend. You was just like, okay. Trying to tell your mom. And it was just like, oh, for real. Oh, we gonna do that. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to tell nobody? Bet. You about to get got. And the little dog was just like, new friend. How you doing? Like, your dog was basically on the energy you was on, except you was all that, oh, well, let's be friends. You was like, oh, I do your dirty work. Your little dog was like, oh, let's be friends. And the big dog was just like, oh, hey, no, I'm not about to get got. You can get this one. This could be a little snack. But you ain't about to get me, bruh. Because, like, it be your own dog. It be your own You about to get got. Your dog is just like, I can imagine that now, getting you got. And your little puppy's like, we're about to go play. I'm about to go play after this. Come play with me. That D word was probably upset that he went off to college and was like, okay, so yeah, I'm kind of confined to this one place, and you gonna go again. Nobody to do their dirty work. Yeah, burnt the place down, but I messed around, or maybe it was not that. Maybe something else burnt the place down to cleanse it. And somehow, because she said it felt airier and like light in there after that. So maybe that, or maybe he was like, or it was like, oh, let me get revenge. Let me burn down this place, get my get back before I go and find somebody else. Maybe. Comment your thoughts below. And this I think this is a 2-part video, because one of my videos, the third video, because y'all know I do 3 a day, the third video I had was a double take. Like, I had put it on there twice. Well, I know how, because I hadn't watched it. I just put this combination of videos together and hadn't watched it. So when I saw it the second time, I was just like, oh, this is good. And I hadn't watched it, so I got just added to the lineup. So just in case I don't put a third video on this, because you know it's about to be time to eat.